Hi guys. So in this video I want to give you a small update about my services app, where I'm at right now, what I've been working on before. So right now I have the mobile version working. I cannot show it because I didn't update the endpoint. I didn't update the ngrok. But I mean, I showed you this before, so I think the updates in terms of the mobile app that I did was that I finished this join screen. I added the floating action button here instead of having like an elevated button at the bottom, sorry. Now I have some problem here, and I think this is because I'm messing around with the web version, and so probably I'm just changing the layout, and I probably broke something um, when I was doing that. But all the rest is the same. I think I haven't implemented a lot more in terms of the mobile version. So the mobile version is close to ready, to be honest. But now I'm working on the web version and probably going to break some things and have to come back to this one. And I still have some tweaks to do. I am, for example, when we are on the join screen, when we are selecting the services and the locations, the services I'm gonna keep using the site sheet where you just search for the service, because I have like right now I have close to 1,000 services, I believe. So I don't have any other way to show them in a way that you can easily see all the services and select the ones that you want, because there are a lot of them. So the best way is just to search for them and select. But in terms of the locations, I'm using the same system, but I'm not very happy with it, because in terms of location, it is a finite. It is a finite list. So I have, I don't know, 200 locations, 200 and something like that. But then the locations that I'm using, they are organized by districts. So probably I'm going to have like a list of districts, and then you can select the district, and inside you can select the locations that you want. Because if you are like performing a service in an entire district, it's a lot easier to just select that district instead of like searching for each location and selecting them, and then you don't remember all the locations inside that district, and it's not a very good system. So I'm going to change that as well. But before that, I started implementing the web version, and I was really curious to see how Flutter works with the web version, or how easy it would be to adapt my mobile app to the web. And I'm actually surprised, because it was really easy. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing and how the web version is coming along. So, but before that, let me just take the emulator from here. We don't need this anymore. So this was my mobile layout or design. And when you run the app on the web, it will basically just use this layout and just expand the layout for the web. So I needed to change a lot of things, so it doesn't seem like a maximized app, which looks really bad. So first I was thinking about not changing the layout that much. I was just gonna change a few things, but then I realized that even the layout, even if I just change a few things on the layout, like not maximizing everything, not maximizing the input fields. I mean, not like so they don't fill the entire screen size and stuff like that. I realized that it still seemed like an app and not like a website, and maybe it was a little bit weird. So I ended up doing a new design for the web version that looked more like a website. And once again, this is a really simple design. I mean, it's a really simple app, so I didn't worry that much about the design. I mean, I'm not a designer, so this is the best I can do. But I didn't worry about how much I was changing. I mean, I didn't want to change the app completely, of course, but I didn't worry about, okay, I'm gonna take the app bar and add a menu and do this and do that, and how hard is it going to be to change that on the actual app. So I just designed something that looked like a website, and then I said, okay, now I'm going to see how I can implement this in Flutter and how easy it is to implement it. And this is the design that I'm using now. So it looks more like a website. Instead of the app bar, I have a menu on top. I have a footer. On the footer, I have like the name of the app. I have some like a call to action so people can join the app, like a professional services can join the app. I have like my information, and then it's the same. I mean, the middle of the screen is more or less the same. So basically, it just does not scale or fill the entire screen. It centers in the middle, and all the screens are like this. These ones I'm probably gonna change a little bit. Yesterday I was working with on this screen, and I don't like it because it doesn't make sense for me to have like this whole space, you know, and opening the menu on each one of the items. I'm not very happy with it. I mean, it's not like while in mobile it works because we don't have a lot of screen space, so we need to do something like this. We need to hide this actual information inside a menu. I think on the web I don't need to do it, so maybe I'm just gonna put these icons here instead of having a menu. I'm just gonna put the icons, the three icons here, and you can see like call and email in the web. You can understand what they are. So probably it works a little bit better, and I'm just gonna change the layout a little bit. I'm not happy with this. I also removed the floating action buttons, and instead I'm using buttons at the bottom, like this one. I wanted to use the floating action button, but it looks really strange because in the material design you can use the floating action button when you are developing for desktop or web or something like big screens, and you can use it, and they actually use like the floating action button in the middle between the footer and the background. Like the button will be like something like this. The button will be like this, and it looks okay. I really like it, but I didn't find like a good place to put the button here. I would need to increase the height of the footer, and then the button, if the button was really close to the edge, if the screen is really big, it looks really strange because you are like, for example, not on just do this, not on this case, but for example on the form, you are like filling the form here, and then you have the button on the bottom right corner. Looks really strange, I believe. So I just removed them, and I'm going to use the buttons here. And on the mobile version, I'm going to keep the floating action buttons. This is not the actual design. I mean, it's different on mobile. I just stopped doing the design here. So then on the footer here, for example, I just hide the call to action to join the app. And I also changed this, so instead of having an onboarding, because on mobile I had like an onboarding screen, like this one, which doesn't make sense on the web, because if you access the website, when you access the website, I don't want you always getting the onboarding. On mobile, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to only show you the onboarding screen the first time that you enter the app. Then I'm just going to save a key on the device, and afterwards you're just going to open the app directly on the search screen. On the web, I didn't want an onboarding. Doesn't make sense for me. It didn't make sense. I could also do something like it, but instead I just added like a how it works button on the menu, and inside on how it works, which is the about screen on mobile, I just gonna add the tutorial, like the slider that I have with explaining all the steps of how the app works. And then you have like a contact button, and on the mobile I think it was a little bit different. Let me see where I have the screen. Oh, it's here. I had a home page, so I just removed because the home page is actually going to redirect to the web version. So, which doesn't make sense now that I think about it. I should probably have like a landing page for the app, just explaining what's the app, and then I have the proper app on another, like a subdomain or something. I need to think about it. But this is the web version. Let me show you. So this is the layout that I did, and let me just run this on the web. Wait here, okay, just to show you, because I implemented a lot of things already, and I'm going to show you how I did it so that I could just change the layout between the mobile and the web version. So right now I'm building the app, exactly the app that you were seeing on mobile. I'm building it now for the web, and I'm going to show it how it works. And yes, here it is. So I already have like the new layout that I designed. So I have the homepage where you can search and see if this is working. Yeah, it's working. So you can search for services, you can search for the location, the same as mobile app. And now I'm still working on this one, like I said. So I'm probably not gonna have this here. I'm gonna change the checkboxes to the left, which I think it's the default side on the material design. And I'm gonna remove this menu and just gonna add the icons here on the right. The only thing that I don't like about this approach is that then all the row items are gonna have like these three icons at the end, and it gets really repetitive here on the screen. But we'll see how it looks. I'm not happy with this one, so I need to find a way to change it. And I'm still missing the buttons, so I removed the floating action buttons, but I don't have the buttons here. I mean, I have the buttons, but I think I'm missing the scroll view, so the buttons are actually below the footer or something like that, because the list view is expanding to the height of the screen. So I'm gonna solve this. I've already implemented the screen is responsive, as you can see. So if it's a really small screen, it just hides the middle here, and this responds to the screen, and also the size of the container in the middle also responds to the screen size. So you can see that it's just adjusting itself as I resize the browser window. And I have the form, it's the same. So basically what I did, and I'm going to show you in a minute, basically what I did, I created like a main container that deals with this resizing. And I'm using that main container like a widget, a new widget, which is a screen container, I believe. And I'm using that screen container on all screens. So all of them resize the same way the middle container. And I'm using something like a Bootstrap uses, so like the container in Bootstrap. And how it works, yeah, this one I haven't dealt with it, so I don't know why this is happening, and this is still the mobile screen on the web. And so this is what I have so far, and now I'm going to show you how easy it was to do something like this. I'm going to remove this from here, I don't need it. Okay, so this is the app, and now let me show you this. And basically, let me open here Flutter web. Let me show you just because Flutter, when we are updating the app for responsive, to be not updating, when we are making the app responsive, Flutter has two different options for it. So, or two main strategies to do something like that, which are actually, let me show you here. I'm trying to open the browser window. I don't know where the browser is. Okay, here. Yep. Creating responsive and adaptive apps. It was the one. This is in their official documentation. And you have like the difference between responsive and adaptive. And then you have like these two approaches, basically. You can use the layout builder, and the layout builder, basically, it gives you the information about the parent widget. So you use the layout when you are building a layout for a specific widget. You can use the layout builder, so you can examine the characteristics or the constraints and the size and everything of the parent widget. I haven't used the layout builder yet. I haven't found a need for it. So I'm using this media query of, and the media query, basically what it gives you is the size, orientation, and everything of the screen. And that's what I'm using so far. What I've created. Then I saw they have like these other resources here. Some of them are really cool. So I follow one of them. I don't remember exactly which one was it, but it had like a small tutorial about creating the responsive layouts. But then I ended up adding a few more to what they had in the tutorial. So I create these layout utils, something similar to what they had in the tutorial. And you use this just to know, okay, is it a small screen, a medium screen, or a large screen? At least that was they had in the tutorial. But I ended up adding a few more things to it because it seemed like only having the small, medium, and large was a really low number of options, and I couldn't resize things properly as I wanted. So I ended up adding a few more options, a few more screen sizes, and I followed basically what Bootstrap uses in their grid system. So if you're not familiar with Bootstrap, let me just open this one. And now this, well, okay, I drag the stuff here and it doesn't appear immediately. I don't know why. Okay, here. So this is Bootstrap, so you can use it as a, how you call it? It's a framework, CSS framework that basically allows you to create responsive sites easily. And they have a grid system, which is like the base, the core thing about Bootstrap. They divide your screen in 12 columns, and then you set rules for your divs and everything on the HTML according to those columns. So I can say, okay, this div is gonna occupy 6 columns, and the other one is gonna occupy 6 columns, and then you have like 2 columns that each occupy half of the screen, and then you can say, okay, if the screen is large, I'm gonna do something like this, but if the screen is medium or small, maybe the left side will occupy everything and the other one just come below, and you can do some stuff like that. And so I ended up using the same grid system that they have, not the grid system, but the breakpoints that they use to see if the screen is small, large, medium, and everything. Let me just show you where they have that layout, breakpoints. Okay, so these are the breakpoints that they have. So the screen is extra small, small, medium, large, and extra, extra large. And here you have the breakpoints that they are using to define these screen sizes. So I ended up using the same thing on my Flutter app. I implemented all these breakpoints, and these are the ones that I'm using. So you can see this is the layout utils class, is the one that allows me to make these comparisons. And basically this is a class with static methods where I can get the screen size, or I can ask, okay, is the screen size extra small, is it small? And then I ended up using, so I implemented this one first, and I was okay, yeah, this is really good. So I can know what size is the screen, but this is not that useful because this only works if you want a specific screen size. Okay, is the screen size small? And so I can do that. But Bootstrap works mainly with, not exactly, I mean, Bootstrap also has this option, but we work a lot with, okay, I want, if the screen size is, I don't know, at least medium, saying like, if the screen size is medium or greater than, then I'm going to do something. Otherwise, we need to see, okay, if the screen size is medium, large, extra, extra large. So you need to have methods that say, okay, if the screen size is at least medium, do something. If the screen size is at max large, do something. And so I ended up doing adding those methods as well. So I have is min small, is min medium, and is max small, is max medium. And these are the ones that I'm actually using. So I implemented this class, and then what we do here in Flutter is using those methods, those comparisons, when we are building our layout. So when we have like the build method and we are returning the widgets, we can use those methods to just understand the screen size and adjust the variables or the values that we are using in our widgets, so they just adapt properly. And like I said, I created like this screen container, which is the main container that I'm using in all of my screens. And this defines the center, the middle of the screen, what the content that we have in the middle. And actually it defines everything. It defines the app bar, the middle, the floating action button, and the bottom sheet, like the footer. And you can see here, like for example, the app bar, what I'm doing, before the app bar, let me show you here, for example, where I'm using the layout utils. So I have a width factor, and the width factor is used by this fractional width size box. This is a widget that you can use to say, okay, I want this widget to occupy a certain percentage of the parent widget. So I can say, okay, I want this widget to occupy 50% of the parent widget, or 70%. And that's the one that I'm using to center this in the middle and make it not occupy the entire screen, or if it's small, to occupy everything. And so I'm using that here. So I have a width factor, which by default is 1. I mean, it occupies the entire screen, and this is used for the extra small. And then I say, okay, but if the screen is at least extra large, then the width factor is 30%, which is the one that I'm using here. This occupies 30% of the entire screen. If it's mean large, it occupies 50%. So if I do this, yeah, now it's 50%. And if it's at least small, it's going to occupy 80%. So here you can see that I still have some edge, some like a padding on the left and right, but if I get extra small, it occupies 100%. And this is one example where I'm using the layout utils, and basically the layout utils is using the media query off. So let me just show you, for example, yeah, this extra small media query of context size width is less than the breakpoint small. This is how I'm using the media query. And screen container, now coming back to the screen container, so I have all my screens have a scaffold, and the up bar, for example, I'm using another thing that I'm always using everywhere, so to adapt for the web and the mobile. And we have this condition, which is CaseWeb, that you can use it, and it's going to return true when you are running the project on the web. So what I'm doing here, for example, is app bar. Okay, if we are running on the web, then I don't have an app bar, and otherwise I'm going to run the app bar just like I had before on a mobile. And I'm using this all over the place. So on the column, I have this is the menu for the web. So it's visible when the K is web. So the menu is only visible when I'm running on the web. And the bottom sheet, which is a footer, the same. So I'm adding the footer when I'm running on the web, and I'm not adding anything when I'm running on the mobile. And basically, I think these are the two approaches that I'm using to create the web version. So I'm using the CaseWeb to toggle between widgets. Okay, when I'm running on the web, do this. When I'm not running, add that, something like that. And to make the widgets responsible, I'm using the layout utils, which in turn are using the media query to understand the size of the screen. I haven't used yet the layout builder, like I said, so I haven't felt a need for it, and I need to also understand what's the difference between the both approaches, because so far the media query is more than enough for what I needed. So I don't know. I still have to see if I'm gonna end up using the layout builder. And this is it. I mean, right now what I'm working on is finishing the web version. Like I said, the footer is working, this one is working. I need to change the results screen. So I take the menu and all that things. I need to fix the buttons at the bottom because they are not working. This one is working. Oh yeah, and I'm gonna change this as well. So for example, this is still using the side sheet that I'm using on mobile. Let me see, I haven't tried it yet. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, and here it worked really well. This is what I wanted. So you can just select here, and it's gonna add on this side. And now I see that I have to add some margins or some paddings to the ships. But what I also want to do here is that when I open, instead of opening this on top of the screen, like it's doing here, and I have this screen blocking the entire screen, I'm going to open this on the side. So basically it's going to open here and not changing the screen. So you can still interact with this one and have the side sheet open on this one. I think this is the correct way to implement it on the web or on desktop. And the locations as well, but this is the one that I'm going to change it. So you are not going to search for it. You're going to have like the districts, and you select the district, and you can select all the district or just a few locations inside the district. And this is something that I'm going to work also. And let me see. That's it, I think. Yeah, I think since the last time I've been working a lot on this forum. Oh, I added these ones as well. I mean, on the web, it's more or less the same, because probably if you want to add the URL for your website, you're just going to like copy from the browser and paste it here. But on mobile, it's really cumbersome, at least for me, to be like writing HTTP ... it's a really cumbersome process. So I just ended up, as a lazy programmer that I am, I just ended up adding like these buttons here that you can just press, and it's gonna fill in the the website for you. So you just need to actually write the domain, and then the most common I call it this. This is not the domain. These ones, I don't remember the name. So it's easier for people to write the website. And yeah, that's it, I think. So yeah, so I'm gonna finish the web layout, and then I'm gonna fix what I broke on the mobile, and I think the app is almost ready to go. So let's see. Thank you.